The long-rumored rematch between Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier is nearly a done deal. According to multiple sources speaking to MMA Fighting, both McGregor and Poirier have come to terms on a deal to book the lightweight fight for the upcoming UFC 257 card on January 23. While the fight has been in the works for several weeks, negotiations were still ongoing to strike a deal with the athletes. Late Monday night, it appears all sides have agreed. However, according to sources, McGregor would still prefer returning earlier, and it appears he's pushing for the December 12 date, now that Nunes vs Anderson has been scrapped for the main event at UFC 256. On Tuesday afternoon, UFC President Dana White disputed the bout status to ESPN, saying McGregor had been sent a bout agreement but hadn't signed it. White said the fight could take place January 23 on Fight Island, if everything goes according to plans. There are a ton of ifs right now, he added. I have to see where the world is at in the next couple of months. McGregor appeared to confirm the bout on Tuesday evening, writing on Instagram, I'm very grateful to be about to return and get to do what I love again. I look forward to the fresh test Dustin will bring since our first bout, while also showcasing my own incredibly deep cache of weaponry. See you guys soon. After announcing his retirement earlier this year, McGregor began hinting at a comeback, while expressing his frustration that the UFC hadn't kept him as busy as he wanted after a quick first-round TKO against Donald "Cowboy" Cerrone in January. That eventually led to McGregor calling for a charity sparring match against Poirier in Ireland, which then got the UFC involved with an idea to actually book the fight for real. Both fighters were immediately on board, but negotiations continued until this week, with McGregor and Poirier coming to terms with the UFC. For Poirier, this will not only serve as an opportunity to potentially earn another shot at UFC gold, but it will give him a chance to avenge a prior loss to McGregor from 2014. On that night, while both fighters were competing at featherweight, McGregor finished Poirier at just 146 into the first round. More than 6 years later, Poirier seeks to even up the series with McGregor after building himself into one of the top lightweights in the sport. Poirier has gone 5-1 in his past 6 fights, including wins over Justin Gaethje, Eddie Alvarez, Max Holloway, and Dan Hooker. The fight between McGregor and Poirier will headline the UFC pay-per-view card in January, with more bouts expected to be added in the coming weeks. Paul Felder will fight Rafael dos Anjos on just 5 days' notice, Saturday, in the new UFC Fight Night 182 headliner. After Islam Makhachev fell off the card due to staph infection, the UFC hustled and has gotten Paul Felder to step in versus Rafael dos Anjos in the new lightweight main event. Felder hasn't competed since a split decision loss to Dan Hooker at UFC Fight Night 168 in February. The Irish Dragon has publicly contemplated retirement in the months since, stating he would only come back for a high-profile bout. He's worked commentary gigs for the UFC in the meantime and was set to be on the call Saturday. Now, he fights in the main event. Dos Anjos, meanwhile, returns to lightweight for the first time since a November 2016 loss to Tony Ferguson. The former UFC champion started out his welterweight tenure at 3-0, but has since dropped 4 of his past 5. His lone win in that stretch came over Kevin Lee. Dos Anjos will return to his original weight class, where he hasn't won since December 2015. Hours after the news surfaced, the UFC confirmed the booking on social media. Shortly thereafter, Felder issued a statement via Twitter. The UFC featherweight and bantamweight champion has been ruled out of her contest with Megan Anderson due to an injury, per a report by ESPN. The fight will instead be rescheduled for next year. Nunes vs Anderson was set to headline UFC 256 on December 12, alongside bantamweight title fight Petr Yan vs Aljamain Sterling. It's as yet unknown if the UFC will look to find a new headlining act to boost the PPV's lineup. Nunes' issue is currently unknown, but Anderson did reveal the UFC still planned on putting the two together in the near future, once the champion recovers. All I was told was she has a serious medical issue, and that they're working on rescheduling the bout currently, Anderson said, speaking to ESPN. Obviously, it sucks because we've been working so hard for this, but I hope she has a speedy recovery, and the goal remains the same. Nothing has ever come easy for me. This is just another part of the journey, and we'll be ready for whatever date they set. Our time is coming one way or another.